everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and this is my channel, Em Reads, where we talk about books and reading. And today I just kind of wanted to talk about the books I'm going to be prioritizing for the rest of the year, kind of the end of the autumn season and through the holidays as 2025 comes to a close. So this is sort of a autumn winter TBR, even though we're partially through fall already and winter will go into 2026. But this is mainly just kind of what I'm trying to prioritize for the rest of the year. Books that feel kind of fall or wintry to me, well suited maybe for the gloomy, dreary days where maybe you can just curl up by the fire at night and read a good book. So I will not promise that I will get to all of these books. It is actually doubtful that I will get to all of these books. I also won't promise that these will be the only books that I choose from when I pick my reading, but these are books that I do want to prioritize where possible to get to. So yeah, let's just get into it. The first one is something that's very well suited for the fall, and that is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And I, shamefully, have never read this. I've kind of included it in my Victober TBR, but I think it's more likely that I'll get to it in November, probably. But I'm really excited to read this. This is one that I'm absolutely going to get read this year. So, yeah, I'm really excited to read about Kathy and Heathcliff. I very much doubt that I'm going to go see the new movie. I think the trailer was enough for me. So if there are any other adaptations of Wuthering Heights that you really like, let me know, because after I've read this, maybe I'll watch one. And the next is Peace Like a River by Leif Enger. I did include this in my stack of books that I considered taking on vacation, but I do think this is probably better suited for just kind of like a wintry fall read. It's about a family kind of traveling across the country to find their brother. And I'm really excited to read this. I've heard really good things, and this is a pretty high priority as well for the rest of this year. And another one I would love to get to is Green Dolphin Street by Elizabeth Goudge. I have never read anything by Elizabeth Goudge, and I feel like the people who love her really love her. Yeah, so this book, I think it's actually called Green Dolphin Country in the UK, but this is about a man who meets two sisters, I think in the UK, maybe, falls in love with one of them, but both sisters, I think, fall in love with him. He goes home to New Zealand, writes a letter to the sister he loves, asking to marry her, but the wrong sister receives the letter and goes to meet him in New Zealand. And he doesn't know that the wrong sister has gotten it until the wrong sister gets there. And I think it's just, I hear it's supposed to be a really touching but difficult, kind of heartbreaking book. But I don't know, I really want to read some Elizabeth Goudge, and this is one I have, so I'm interested to read this one soon. This book was not on my list for this until very recently, but it is the Cider House Rules by Irving. This was not on my list until a read-along got announced for November to read this book. I'll link some of the hosts and their announcement videos below in the description, but apparently Irving is publishing somewhat of a prequel or sequel or something to this book in November called Queen Esther. But I have never read the Cider House Rules, and I've never read any Irving, but I've always kind of wanted to, and so I thought this read-along would be a great opportunity to do this one. So I'm excited to read this with some other people. Now, this book is Snow Falling on Cedars by David Gutterson. And this was recommended to me by Pat at Book Chat with Pat, as we kind of talked about To Kill a Mockingbird. And she recommended it to me because it has some of the same themes as To Kill a Mockingbird, with there being a trial and racism being a factor. So I don't know, this takes place in the 1950s. And I'm really excited to get to this. I'm really glad that after she recommended it to me, I actually had it on my shelf already, because I had seen it at a library book sale and liked the look of it and picked it up, but I hadn't gotten to it. But so I was really, really glad to get Pat's recommendation for it. So thank you, Pat. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. This is one I've been wanting to get to forever, and it just keeps getting pushed down the never-ending list. And I just really finally need to make the time to read it. But this is the kind of Cain and Abel retelling. I understand it's rather dark, particularly with the character Kathy. So maybe it feels like the fall and winter might be a good time to read it. But, you know, this is just one of those books that people read and seems to instantly get put in their favorites of all time. So really know that I need to get to this one. And for me, it's hard to go through the fall and winter without reading any fantasy at all, but the one that I really want to read is The Once and Future King by T.H. White. I still want to keep delving into Arthurian retellings, and as far as kind of the more modern narrative style ones, this is kind of the big one. And I haven't read it, and I just really want to. People love this, and I mean, I still want to get to some of the more foundational Arthurian texts as well, but so far I've been enjoying reading the more modern novels and things like that. But so I'm really, really excited to try to read this soon. And also, okay, Beowulf. This is the Seamus Heaney translation. In high school, we only ever read excerpts of this, and I have not read it since. But I really want to, and I need to, and I just feel like the fall and winter would be a fantastic time. I found this copy at a library book sale for like 50 cents. So I nearly ran out of there with it, because when I saw it, I was like, I have to reread this, or read it in its entirety for the first time. And I know people really, really love this translation. So I was really, really excited to find this. And I really hope that I'm able to actually get to it this fall and winter. Okay. I just can't quit reading Wendell-Berry. I just can't. This is The World Ending Fire, which is a collection of his more prominent essays. I haven't read any of his essays so far this year. I've just read his fiction. So I just want to keep reading Wendell-Berry. There's not much more to say about it other than I just don't want to put him down. The next is Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. I think I'm going to try to do this as a buddy read with Catherine from The Literary Latte. I'll link her channel below as well. But this is kind of Anne Rice's somewhat classic vampire novel. I've never read it. I've never read anything else by Anne Rice. I did not see the 90s movie adaptation of it, but I have seen the more recent AMC TV adaptation, which honestly I love. And I know it's got some kind of significant differences from this, I think, in terms of location and age of one of the characters, but I think it's a great adaptation. I think the casting was wonderful. The actors are fantastic. So I'm really excited to read this, to see what Rice's prose is like and how she handles it, because I think the writers for the show have done a great job. But I don't know, I'm excited to read this with Catherine and see what we think about it. Okay, and the last is a book I've talked about before, but it is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I've read this before, but I have never completed the series. I've only gotten about 5 books in, I think. And I read most of them quite a long time ago, but I really do want to finish the series. But I feel like there's a lot I've kind of forgotten, so I do just kind of want to start a reread of it. And I think the fall would be a good time to kind of dive back into the Scottish Highlands. So, and it's, I don't know, this is somewhat of a comfort read for me, I guess. I've reread it a few times. It's a little nostalgic for me for various reasons. So could be an easy thing to kind of read as I'm reading some other things that I've never read before that might be a little bit more difficult. So yeah, I'm hoping to maybe kind of start my reread of that series this fall. Okay, and that's kind of my stack for what I'm going to try to prioritize getting to for the rest of the year. Like I said, I make no promises that some of this might not change, but that's my intention as it stands right now. And I don't know, I'm really excited about it. I feel pretty strong about this group of books, to be honest. I feel really pretty strongly about it. So I'm excited, and I really want to know what y'all are thinking about reading the rest of this year, or trying to prioritize getting finished before the end of the year. If you think about reading in terms like that, you might not. But yeah, what are y'all looking forward to getting to soon? I'd love to know. Let me know down in the comments. But thank y'all for sticking around and watching with me, and I'll talk to y'all again soon. Thanks. Bye.